Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Fife here in Scotland once again, and we're going to revisit a brewery who you've seen me review a couple of times now. And the beers I've had from these guys before I have really enjoyed. These guys are actually one of the smallest craft breweries that you're going to find in Scotland these days. So for this one we're going to return to Beath Brewing from Cowdenbeath, of course, and we're having a taste of their Imperial Stout today, which comes in at 8.9% ABV, and it's called Dance of the Tsars. So should be a really interesting beer this. As I say, I enjoyed the porter that I had from them. It was a coffee porter that I had before, so I'm looking forward to trying something that's even heavier than that. Their dark beers were really good. The Unicorn Invasion of Dundee, that was a really nice IPA. I really enjoyed that one actually, so looking forward to this, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Beath Brewing before. No doubt I will add some more in the fairly near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Scottish reviews that I've done for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, on to my brewery notes then. It's only a little brief bit about this then. So Beath Brewing were founded back in 2016 by Ian McGrath, and Ian had actually been a home brewer for a good 5 years before he started the company. So he produced a 4% red ale which was called Are You With Me for the Fife Camera Festival, and this won the festival and also sold out the fastest as well. And this was particularly impressive when you consider the brewery was only about 6 weeks old at the time. But pretty much Ian brews in his garage and bottles up a couple of hundred bottles at a time, and it gets sold in local bars and local shops and things like that. I actually bought this beer at the Key store in Crossgates, which isn't too far away from Cowdenbeath. They seem to stock a lot of the really quite nice local beers, particularly Beath Brewing. They're always getting the new stuff in there. But throughout Fife they've got a decent name for themselves now. They have built up a decent reputation, and like I say, I've had really positive experiences with this. But this brewery is pretty much a hobby for Ian. Like he does a lot of other stuff as well. He's quite a hard working guy from what I understand, but this is something that he just enjoys doing on the side. And like I say, the IPA that I had from them, the Unicorn Invasion of Dundee, really enjoyed that. I think I can't remember what the coffee porter that I had was called. Was it Mad World or something like that? But that was also a really nice beer. So I'm, as I say, looking forward to trying something that is a little bit heavier. But if you get the chance to try some of these Beath Brewing beers, I really recommend that you do. You're probably only going to find them in the Fife area, maybe Edinburgh if you're lucky, but they are quite difficult to come across. But this is what I always enjoy doing. I always enjoy introducing you guys to the really kind of little Scottish breweries or Swedish breweries as well, as I mainly do. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about the brewery. If you want to learn a little bit more, check out the Facebook page in the description below. These guys don't have a website yet, so I'll put the Facebook link for you in the description below, and you can keep up to date with all the different beers and things like that. So on the side here it says, our first Imperial Stout, roasted chocolate and caramel with Brewer's Gold hops to balance the sweetness, and then a dose of alcohol. You can taste the strength of this one. Mother Russia, Dance of the Tsars, hold up your heads, be proud of what you are. On the back here it says, yeah, it just tells you a little bit about it being bottle conditioned and things like that. But yeah, nicely presented this one. Plain bottle cap as you always get with Beath Brewing. It would be cool at some point in the future if they scale up to put that in white on the top there. I think that would be a really nice little touch for the beers. But yeah, really nicely presented. So without further ado, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. Nice smoky opening as we open it up. You can smell some of that lovely chocolate coming out of the beer as well. But I mean, look how dark that is. There you are. Look at that. So as you can see with this one, it's poured a really nice dark ebony rosewood colour as you would expect. There's a solid half finger of quite a dark tan head on that one. It is actually one of the darker heads I've seen in recent times. But a few big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and quite a few little ones heading up towards the bottom of that head. If I shine the light through this beer, it is pretty much, you know, it's not really see-through in the slightest. It is pretty solid. That there's a nice little bit of a ruby edge to this one, but overall, you know, it does look pretty nice. So yeah, looks pretty much as you'd expect. It's kind of, if you put the light to the edge of it, there's a little touch of a kind of Coca-Cola type thing with this one to it, but pretty much as you would expect for an Imperial Stout. And you can see that the head has just faded away to be a very, very thin foamy layer. But yeah, let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on with this one. Ooh. Right. First thing you'll notice about this beer is the brown sugars. For me, it's the brown sugars that are jumping out of this one. It's definitely got a sort of dark, treacle, molasses type presence to it, this beer. Yeah, big brown sugar notes, treacle molasses like I was saying. Chocolate's in there as well. I would say it's a bit of a sweeter chocolate to this one, to be honest with you. You can smell there's a little touch of a roasted black malt quality in this one. There's maybe a wee touch of a kind of bready quality to it as well, but not too much. But it's like I say, dark chocolates, roasted black malt, dark brown sugars, quite toasted in that regard. Maybe a wee touch of a kind of nutty note or something like that. There's a wee bit of an earthy hop, but not all that much. It really is more about the malt, which is what you'd expect in this style, of course. And there's a wee bit of a kind of red fruity note to this one. It almost has a little bit of that kind of cough syrupy, medicinal quality to it. Yeah, it's definitely got a little bit of that medicinal quality to it. It's maybe the brewer's gold hops that are giving you that. When you mix them with certain types of malts, they can give you that almost kind of medicinal quality to the beer. But definitely a little bit of a kind of medicinal red fruity note to it. I think some figs to this one, maybe some prunes or something like that. Definitely a little bit of a red fruity presence to this beer, but you know, it pretty much has everything you would expect of an Imperial Stout, a Russian Imperial Stout at that. So just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma, as I always say. But let's have a taste of this one now. So this one is the Dance of the Tsars from Beath Brewing in Cowdenbeath in Fife here in Scotland. Let's get stuck into this one. Slàinte, skål. Yeah, that's a really nice beer. I mean, this is the thing about Beath Brewery. When you review a brewery like this, or you review a beer like this, it's one of these ones where you're just like, it's a shame that the company's so small. Because it really is, it's good. I mean, that's up there with the things. That particular beer, I mean, the other ones they've done are good, but for me, this one, it's a step up from the other ones that they've done, right enough. But for me, this is, you know, this is as good as the things you're going to get from the likes of like Tempest and, you know, Tempest and Cromarty and all of these kind of breweries. That's a really, really good beer. Yeah. That's, you know, that's a really, really damn good beer. What I would say to Ian is, you know, if you can produce beers like that, if you were thinking about taking the company up and, you know, going full out with it, go for it. If you can produce beers like that, you'll do pretty damn well. That's a really, really good Russian Imperial Stout. He's done a good job with that. So let's try and break this down a little bit. As I always say, when you're tasting a beer, particularly a dark beer, sugar it around your palate a little bit and just, you know, let your whole mouth adjust before you start analysing it too much. But for me, the thing that's striking me about this is how smooth the beer is as well. So there's definitely, as you're progressing further into the aftertaste, you can feel a little bit of that roasted black malt just pushing its way out. Some of the chocolate sitting in there. The chocolate, I would say, it's a sort of higher cocoa chocolate in the flavour than you would think from the aroma. And the aroma, I would say the cocoa in this one's maybe pushing the 80 sort of percent, but in the aroma it maybe comes across, you know, that sort of 50, 60-ish mark. So I would just pay attention to that. But yeah, it's quite it's a big oily beer, this one, but that really does suit it because the beer starts off and you've got the chocolate and the caramel just mixing there, and it just kind of sort of subsides a little bit, and that's where you get the more roasted and higher cocoa notes out of this beer. It's really interesting just how, you know, everything goes together with this one. The hops are pretty much as you'd expect. Back corners of the palate, it's a nice kind of earthy bitterness that comes out of it. As you go further forward, it's it does smooth out a little bit, and then you can feel that earthiness just at the very front corners of the palate too, but round the very front curve of the tongue it's just a little touch kind of grassy and things like that. You can pick that coming out of the beer. But everything, you know, this beer has pretty much everything you expect. It's not, you know, it's not doing anything really unusual with the style, but it's one of these beers it's like really just very, very well executed. It has everything you would want from this style. It's just, you know, it really is good. And I'm sure I said the same about the Unicorn Invasion of Dundee. It really is, it was a bloody good IPA, that one. And, you know, again, he's shown at the other end of the spectrum he can do beers like this. You just have to wonder, I mean, if this brewery was, you know, a sort of full-scale microbrewery or something, I do reckon on the basis of the quality of the beer, it would do very, very well. You know, on that basis, it would do very, very well, and, you know, business-wise, it would if it's managed properly. But it's, you know, it's a great quality beer, this, so well done to Ian, really. So yeah, on the fruity side of things, it's nice as well. I mean, it's got that sort of medicinally note, that kind of cough syrupy flavour that I was picking up, or aroma that I was picking up. That's not really present in the flavour. There's a little touch of it, but it's not as prominent as I would thought it was going to be. You can get it just on the kind of front sides of the palate, that almost red fruity medicinal kind of cough syrupy type thing, but behind the front curve of the palate, that's where you get that little oily bubble where the fruity esters start to come out of the beer. And for me, this one's it's nice. Yeah, it's got a nice kind of there's a good mix of like prunes and sort of plums and things like that in this beer. I'd say it's maybe more of a kind of pruny flavour to it actually, which is quite nice. But yeah, it's got a little bit of a kind of prune note to it, a little bit of a kind of juicy red fruity quality to it as well. A nice, as you would say, it's got a little bit of that kind of figgy quality and that candied red fruit as you go further into the aftertaste. But initially, there's a little bit of a sharpness to it, as I say, plums, but I reckon more kind of prunes and things like that. But it's a really, it is a top quality beer, this one, you know. In terms of Imperial Stouts, you know, that would stand up there. One of my favourite Imperial Stouts was always Riptide from Brewdog. It's got a similar mouthfeel to it than that, but it's not quite as sweet a stout as that. That probably sums this one up quite well. If you go back to the original Riptide that Brewdog did, but then made it a bit more roasty and toasty, you know, pretty much make it a Russian Imperial Stout instead of a sweet stout, if that makes sense, then this one, you know, really would fit the bill in that regard. This is you know, I can't really compliment this beer enough. It is just really well done. In terms of the mouthfeel, yeah, I would say it's on the bottom end of full-bodied, this one. It's got a nice big oily mouthfeel. The carbonation is very, very smooth. I would say, yeah, the malt base has a really good balance between roasty bitterness and kind of malty sweetness. The hops are quite smooth in this, but it does have a little bit of bitterness in the back corners of the palate. As you go further and further into the taste, like I was saying, the malt base does become a little bit bitter, and there's some nice juicy fruity qualities to this beer as well. In the middle of the palate, you've got a really good balance between that kind of brown sugary note and the dark chocolate with the roasted malt base as well. Overall, like I say, it is a really nice beer. It's just a shame as a reviewer when you review something like this and you know that it's only produced on a very small scale, because, you know, this is a beer. That's one of the best stouts, I think, pardon me, that you're going to come across in Scotland. It really is that well done. It's just a shame it's produced on such a small scale, but in terms of quality you can't fault it at all. So well done to Ian and Beath Brewing for this. I really look forward to trying a few more of their beers. I need to try a few things. I'd love to see them have a go at Scotch ale actually. I think that would be really, really cool to review from these guys on the basis of this one. The big malty beers, he's obviously got a bit of a knack for producing those, so it would be lovely to see him have a go at a Scotch ale. That would be pretty awesome. So yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. So this one was the Dance of the Tsars, a really nice Imperial Stout at 8.9%. again from Beath Brewing. Pretty much a guy brewing in his garage in Cowdenbeath and Fife, but really look forward to trying more beers from these guys, and I'll hopefully be able to return to them soon. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this one in the comments section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Beath Brewing if you do happen to have tried them. Like I say, this brewery is pretty much local to just the kind of Dunfermline, Fife area, maybe in Edinburgh if you're lucky. But have a go at these beers if you get the chance. They are pretty damn good, I have to say. But thanks again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. The Dance of the Tsars from Beath Brewing in Cowdenbeath in Fife in Scotland. Really lovely beer, this one. Until the next time, Slans just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. Cheers.